The strongest people you'll ever meet aren't the loudest. They're not the ones flashing power, screaming confidence, or chasing applause. The strongest people in the room are often the quietest because they've mastered something sacred. The ability to say no, not out of fear, not out of insecurity, but from clarity, from conviction, from the deep, immovable knowing of who they are and who they refuse to be. You think strength is built through more hustle, more followers, yes, more approval. But becoming unshakable doesn't start with more. It starts with less, with the cutting, with the choosing, with the line drawn in the soul that says, this is who I am. And everything that doesn't honor that must go. You become unshakable the moment you stop apologizing for protecting your peace. You become untouchable the moment you realize that your energy is your empire and access to it is earned, not owed. Carl Jung said, is the privilege of become who you truly are. But the price of that privilege is saying no to everything that tries to make you forget. You were not born to be everything to everyone. You were not built to say yes to every call, every offer, every plea for attention. You were not designed to be stretched thin in the name of being nice. You were built to be solid, not soft, whole, not hollowed out by obligation. But the world doesn't want you solid. It wants you compliant, approachable, predictable, exhausted. It wants you addicted to the dopamine of agreement. Because when you're always saying yes, you're too busy to remember you're not free. Real freedom begins with a word that terrifies the insecure. No. No to the distraction. No to the drama. No to the people who only remember you when they need something. No to the impulse to please. No to the constant reach for more when you haven't even become more. Because every yes you give out of guilt is a no to yourself. Every yes you give from fear is a permission slip for your boundaries to be broken. And the psyche remembers. It tracks every betrayal. Every time you silence yourself. Every time you tolerate what used to be unacceptable. Every time you go against your intuition to keep the peace. It remembers and it builds resentment, buries rage, cripples clarity. To become unshakable, you must detox from approval. You must stop performing and start protecting. Protecting your time, protecting your voice, protecting your purpose, like it's the last sacred thing left in a world that wants you distracted, diluted, and depleted. This is where psyphoria begins. The inner clarity that buzzes in your bones when you finally choose truth over tolerance. The electricity that awakens when your yes actually means yes, because your no has weight. Psyphoria is not pleasure. It's power. It's the rush that comes when your life finally reflects your soul, not your fear. And to live in psyphoria, you have to become ruthless with what you allow. You have to stop being polite to your own destruction. You have to stop inviting chaos over for tea because it's wearing the face of an old friend, a family member, a childhood pattern. Becoming unshakable means facing the grief of boundaries. Because when you say no, you don't just disappoint others. You bury parts of your old identity. The people pleaser, the helper, the savior, the martyr, the one who got their value from being needed. But you were never created to be needed. You were created to be known, and that only happens when you are willing to be misunderstood. because not everyone can comprehend conviction. Not everyone can handle a soul that's not for sale. So let them be confused. Let them talk. Let them walk away. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to be undeniably yourself. And that means drawing the line. It means rewriting the contract. It means waking up every day and asking, what is no longer welcome in my life? What did I allow yesterday that no longer belongs today? What am I still holding on to that's making me weak, unclear, unavailable to my future? Because you cannot become unshakable if you are still addicted to comfort. Comfort in your patterns. Comfort in your excuses. Comfort in your fake yes. The yes that keeps you small. The yes that waters you down. The yes that gets you applause, but robs you of alignment. Discipline doesn't just mean doing the hard things. It means saying no to the easy ones. It means walking away from what is almost right, so you can finally meet what is exactly aligned. It means choosing boredom over chaos, solitude over noise, vision over validation. And the moment you start doing that, you stop bending, you stop breaking, you stop explaining your no like it needs a PowerPoint presentation. Because when you know who you are, no becomes holy. No becomes sharp. No becomes a sword that cuts through every lie you used to live in. You were not born to be agreeable. You were born to be anchored, and anchored people don't flinch. They don't sway with opinion. They don't shapeshift for attention. They walk into rooms knowing if I'm too much for this space is not enough for me. Let them shrink. Let them squirm. Let them say you've changed. Because you finally remembered that no is not a rejection of others. It's a reclamation of self. And from that self, clarity begins. Vision is born. Purpose reawakens. And a new rhythm sets in. One that doesn't need chaos to feel alive. One that doesn't need noise to feel valuable. One that doesn't say yes unless the soul agrees. This is the root of all power. And it begins with a word so simple, so small, yet so feared, no. Because once you say it, once you say no with your chest, with your spine, with your soul, you never go back. There is a moment in every transformation where the old self gasps for breath, where your former identity pleads with you to soften, to compromise, to just be liked again, to make it easy, to say yes because it's nicer, because it avoids conflict, because it keeps the peace. But peace built on self-abandonment isn't peace. It's performance. It's a funeral dressed in diplomacy. It's silence where your roar used to live. Becoming unshakable means you finally let it die. You let the old identity dissolve. The agreeable one, the always available one, the one who needed to be seen to feel real, the one who said yes to stay safe. You bury it with honor, with fire, and then you rise, emptier, but truer. Because when you finally clear out everything that isn't you, you start hearing a different voice. Not the noise of the world, but the rhythm of the real you. The voice that doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It doesn't ask for permission. It just knows. It knows what to do when the world tests your edges. It knows what to keep and what to cut. It knows that power isn't loud. It's precise. And the most precise act of power is knowing when to refuse, not from fear, but from fullness, from the deep-rooted understanding that your boundaries are not walls. They are windows into your values. And what you protect reflects what you believe you're worth. That's why no is so terrifying to those still healing, because it forces them to confront the question, what have I been allowing that is beneath the life I claim to want? And if you really want the life, the freedom, the clarity, the focus, you'll have to earn it. Not by doing more, but by choosing less distraction, less compromise, less explaining. You will not be able to carry both your future and your need to be understood. One will have to go, because no is a door. Every time you say it, you close the portal back to who you used to be. Every time you say it, you remind the universe that you are unavailable for anything that dilutes you. Unshakable people don't fight to be included. They don't knock on locked doors. They build their own rooms. They walk with conviction, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. They know that discomfort is temporary, but regret is a life sentence. And the pain of saying no in the moment is nothing compared to the pain of saying yes to what kills you slowly. So they choose the moment, they feel the sting, they let the silence follow the no. They let people react, they let them go, and they stand still. They don't shake, they don't explain, they don't justify their standards like they're negotiable, because they are done. Done being stretched for people who don't bend. Done being drained by people who never pour back. Done being soft for a world that only respects steel. That steel, it's not cold. It's not cruel. It's sacred. It's what allows you to stay soft where it matters. With the ones who see you, honor you, meet you where your no is already understood. Because no isn't a rejection. It's alignment. It's a redirect from distraction to destiny. It's the boundary that makes your yes worth something again. It's the gate you place in front of your time, your attention, your sacred mind. So only those who carry respect may enter. And when you start living like that, the world changes. Not because it becomes easier, but because you become clearer. You stop chasing clarity and start becoming it. You stop seeking power and start embodying it. And suddenly, the storms that used to shake you don't. The rejections that used to break you don't. The distractions that used to seduce you don't. Because now, your soul has structure. Now, your mind has muscle. Now, your energy is no longer leaking through every open door, because you've finally chosen to protect what's inside the temple. Becoming unshakable was never about becoming hard. It was about becoming holy. It was about returning to yourself so fully, so unapologetically, that every no became a prayer for protection, a prayer for purpose, a prayer that said, I will no longer betray myself to be included. I will no longer abandon myself to be accepted. I will no longer say yes when my soul says no. And from that place, you walk differently, not with arrogance, but with authority. The quiet, grounded kind that doesn't need to prove anything, because you are the proof. You survived. You remembered. You reclaimed. And now you are unshakable.